Okay. It says we're live. Good evening, everybody. It's DaWolfman here, and welcome to the shitposting realm known as Sportsball Live. In case you're new to the Sportsball Live, we start out with a few hot takes, and we move on to the tier makers. Doing the NFL and the Big Ten, since that's what's hot around here these days. Alright, kicking things off. The AFL, otherwise known as the Arena Football League, has officially filed for Chapter 7. In layman's terms, they went belly up. Actually, kind of sucks, to be honest, because those guys were around for 30 years. They got their start in 1987. There was a local team, the Milwaukee Mustangs. They later became known as, they started out as the Milwaukee Iron, and the Iron went belly up. Then they came back as the Mustangs, and they went defunct in 2001. Myself, I never really got too hot and heavy into the Arena Football League. I've been more of a NFL guy. I knew the Arena Football League existed, but since there weren't any local teams, I really never got into it. So there's that. You're almost as good as Joe Buck. Fuck Joe Buck, he's an idiot. Oh, he's not. Joe Buck really isn't an idiot. I just don't like him. He's kind of a tool. As long as you don't compare me to Booger, because if you want idiots that shouldn't be commentating football, Booger's the guy. Booger is just a massive idiot. Yeah, I really never got into the Arena Football League because there was never really a cult following up here in Wisconsin. We had the Mustangs, but they died in 2001. Also, baseball news. I know, shocking. We're getting into November and we got baseball news. The Milwaukee Brewers have executed a mass trade with the Padres. We're getting rid of a few pieces. I can't remember their names right now off the top of my head because I'm in football mode. In case you guys probably remember, a couple weeks ago we decided to send Yasmani Grandal to the south side. We got rid of Jesus Aguilar not too long ago. He's floating in another world known as free agency right now, so there's a chance we might re-grab him. I'm not 100% sure. Some people are saying Yasmani Grandal is kind of I'm kind of thinking that as well, but he's a good reliever. If you get him, have him in like a inning or inning and a half, he's okay. If you have him in more than that, he just starts to fold. The same thing happened with Hader. We had him, typically he's our setup guy, but we had him as our closer, and that really burned him out. So anyway, with the hot takes out of the way, let's get into the tier makers. As always, we got Tank Bowl up top, the Super Bowl, followed by Division, Wild Card. We got a new tier here in the Hunt, which means they're in the Wild Card Hunt, and Football Hell, which means they suck dog shit. Alright, starting off with the Indianapolis Colts and Houston Texans. I saw that game. That was kind of a game. Caught the second half of it. Texans managed to edge out on top because the Colts kind of choked there. So both teams are kind of in playoff. Texans are going to win their division. That's a given. Colts, they kind of do have they're kind of looking for. They're sitting at 6-5, so they're wild card worthy, but they don't have them in there officially, so I'm just going to put them in the hunt. And Texans are sitting at 7-4, so they're winning out their division. That's a given. Their division they're in is kind of soft. That was kind of a game. Alright, up next, the Dolphins went up against the Cleveland Browns. The Browns are back in it. I don't know how the Browns are still in this. Yes, they beat Miami, but Miami's trash. Miami's trash. They have officially embraced a tank, even though they're still kind of trying to blow it up. I don't know why. Because they're Miami. They can't even tank right. Alright, Lions went up against the Deadskins. That was a shitty game. And well, congratulations, Lions. You lost to the fucking Deadskins. You are our first applicant of football hell. Yeah, live chat is pretty dead. What's going on, guys? Yeah, the Lions have been doing pretty shitty without Matt Stafford. They were kind of trash with Matt Stafford anyway, so what's the difference? Matt Patricia, you're trying to make your team a cheap Patriots imitation. Stop it. Just flat out stop it. It's not working. Straight up, you need to stop. Redskins are sitting at 2-9. They are. Yeah, I can put them in that tank pool because what garbage. Dan Snyder, he's just. I should put them in football hell on account of Dan Snyder being a sniveling asshole. But in terms of just that, yeah, they're in the running for tanked. All right. Next up, we've got the Raiders got the piss beaten out of them by the Jets. How in the hell do you manage that? How in the hell do you get beat by the butt fumble? I mean, honest to God. Yet the Raiders are still 6-5, so they're still in the playoff hunt. And the Jets are apparently trying to fuck up their tank, so they get cast into football hell for right now. Still, that wasn't even close to a game. The Raiders only managed to score a field goal in the first quarter. That was it. Yeah, the autumn fart of the NFL is. Yeah, they're the autumn fart. And the butt fumble is seriously trying to fuck up their tank. I mean, what the hell? It's not that hard, just lose out. In the stretch of probably one of the worst seasons, one of the best seasons you have, just no. All right, next up, you got the Chicago Bears going up against the New York Giants. How even do you almost lose to the Giants? Now, granted, you only allowed 2 touchdowns, one in the second quarter, one in the fourth. Still, dude, that shouldn't have even been a close game. Granted, you're 5-6. Matt Nagy's still pretty rattled from the double doink. Khalil Mack isn't producing the way he's supposed to anymore, because essentially all you got to do is double team the guy. I have no idea what it took this long for teams to figure it out. I mean, seriously. And everybody... I actually kind of find it incredible that one of the top teams in the NFC North last year get absolutely pwned within the span of a year. It's incredible. Alright. No, I should probably go over the stat lines. Daniel Jones, he had himself a pretty decent game, considering 21 completions out of 36 attempts for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. Barkley at 17 carries for 59 yards and had a 3.5 yard average. That's, compared to what Barkley's been getting, he's kind of on the downswing right now. The Giants are legit starting to kill him, which actually kind of sucks. He's a good player. When he was with Penn State, he would absolutely destroy people. On the other hand, on behalf of Chicago, Mitch Trubisky threw 25 completions for 41 attempts for 278 yards at 1 touchdown and 2 picks. It's becoming clear that the Trubisky choice for the Bears is becoming more of a not good. Trubisky is not a good quarterback. He's average. He's more along the lines of a second stringer, borderline third stringer. As a starter, no. You do not have Mitch Trubisky as a starter. Granted, the only reason why he was good when he was because he had pieces around him. You had Tariq Cohen, who really isn't having a good year. You had a few receivers around him who were absolutely baller. Now they're just there. And in terms of the defense, the only person that's good on the Bears right now is Khalil Mack, and he's having himself an off year. You had Adrian Amos come up to Green Bay, so that really kills one of their core pieces right there. They really don't have anybody notable on defense in the linebacking position. They had Adrian Amos in the secondary, and now he's up in Green Bay, so you really don't have anyone there anymore. So, yeah, I would consider the Bears are in a rebuild. In terms of rushing, Tariq Cohen had 6 carries for 25 yards. That's not good. Alright, backing up here. Going back to the Texans game, going over the stat lines, because why the hell not? Brissett, he completed 16 of 25 for 129 yards, no touchdowns, 0 picks. Williams had, I don't know who this guy is. Jonathan Williams. Jonathan Williams, everybody. Jonathan Williams had 26 carries for 104 yards. He averaged 4 yards a carry and a touchdown. And Brissett rushed 4 times for 20 yards, averaged 5, and had a touchdown. For the Texans, Watson kind of had himself an off game. 19 out of 30 for 298 yards. Had 2 touchdowns and a pick. Hyde had 16 carries, 67 yards, 4.2 yards average, and no touchdowns. And Watson himself rushed 3 times for 10 yards, averaged 3.3. For the Jets... No, for the Dolphins-Browns game... Come on. I'm getting these off my phone. Sorry, guys. For the Dolphins, Ryan Fitzpatrick completed 21 of 39 for 214 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He also rushed for 5 times for 45 yards, averaging 9 yards a carry and 1 touchdown. Bayard had 3 carries, 20 yards, averaging 6.7. For the Browns... we did do the Browns. Baker Mayfield completed 24 out of 34. Missed 10. That's not too bad. For 327 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. And Nick Chubb had 21 carries, 106 yards, and 5 yards per attempt, and a touchdown. Kareem Hunt, 8 carries for 37 yards, 4.6 average, and a touchdown. Baker ran 2 times for 5 yards, averaging 2.5 per attempt. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Well, since it is Thanksgiving, let's not. Let's just get right down to the bare bones of it. We're not here to say what we're thankful for. We're here for football. In the aftermath of football. Alright, for the Lions-Redskins game, Driscoll had 20 completions out of 33 attempts, 207 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 picks. Scarborough had 18 carries, 98 yards, and 5.4 yards per attempt. Driscoll himself rushed 9 times, 63 yards, averaging 7 per attempt. And for the Giants-Bears game... Oh, we already did the Giants-Browns game. Alright then. Let's carry on now. Panthers traveled to the Superdome. It blew a game against the Saints. Carolina got felled by the Saints 34-31. That was a game Carolina should have won. Honestly. They had a couple fuck-ups. There was a... The Saints almost got bit in the ass by their own penalty creation. Oh, if you guys remember last year from the NFC Championship game, there was a pretty blatant call. This is old news. Yeah, Saints got really pissy about it, so the NFL implemented a review rule for pass interference, which has not been going the way it was supposed to. So now they got the overturn. They got an overturn, so it was interference. It wasn't really interference. That was weak. That was a weak pass interference penalty. And it's actually kind of funny. The team that has the rule implemented, which was supposed to, because of them, end up having them biting them in the ass. That's actually kind of hilarious. All right, Kyle Allen had 23 completions out of 36 attempts for 256 yards and 3 touchdowns, no picks. Christian McCaffrey, or Run CMC, had 22 carries, 64 yards, averaging 2.9 yards per attempt and a touchdown. That's what you That's what everybody should have been doing in the first place. Just contain McCaffrey. Run blitzes or contain or whatever the fuck else. Just don't let him get out in the flats. Don't let him turn the corner. Don't let him do anything. Just keep a guy on him at all times. In terms of Allen also had one rush for 9 yards, and his average was 9. For the Saints, Drew Brees completed 30 out of 39 for 311 yards, had 3 touchdowns and a pick. And Murray carried the ball 7 times for 64 yards, averaging 9.1 yards per attempt and a touchdown. Kamara ran 11 times, 54 yards, and averaged 4.9 and no touchdowns. All right, so for that game, the Panthers are sitting at 5-6. Saints are sitting at 9-2. Saints are put Saints in the Super Bowl, because why not? Actually, right now, I'll put them in the division. And Panthers with that loss, they're in the hunt. They're either in the hunt or they're in football hell. No, just cast them into hell. They're done. They've got a pretty tough schedule coming up. All right, Seahawks go up against the Eagles. For that game, Russell Wilson had 13 out of 25 attempts for 200 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick. He did all right. The Eagles, Carson Wentz, 33 out of 45 for 256 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, and Sanders had 12 carries, 63 yards, 5.2 yards per attempt. Should start doing receiving. And for Ertz, he had 12 receptions, 91 yards, averaging 7.6 yards per attempt, and 1 touchdown. The Seahawks receiving Tyler Lockett had 1 reception, 38 yards. Yeah, the Eagles, they're pretty much done. They're in football hell. The Seahawks, sitting at 9-2. Yeah, they got their division pretty well hammered down. So they're doing all right. All right, the Succaneers going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons got trounced by 49ers, who are sitting at 4-7, and the Falcons are sitting at 3-8. Both teams get cast into hell, because they aren't doing too hot. Succaneers are trying to kill their own tank. Yada, yada, yada. Jameis Winston had 18 out of 28 completions for 313 yards, 3 tutties, and 2 picks. Jones led in receiving, or rushing rather, for 12 carries, 51 yards, and 4.2 yard average, and a touchdown. Winston rushed himself 8 times, 38 yards, and 4.8 yards average, and no touchdowns. And Goodwin rushed 7 times at 100, got 7 receptions. I cannot talk. 7 receptions, 184 yards for a 26.3 yard average and 2 touchdowns. For the Falcons, Matt Ryan. Mr. Matty Ice. 23 completions out of 46 attempts for 271 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. And Matt Schaub made himself an appearance. 5 completions out of 9 attempts for 55 yards and a touchdown. Olsen, not the Carolina Panthers Olsen. Quentin Olsen, I think is his name. 8 carries for 20 yards, 2.5 yards per attempt, and a touchdown. For receiving, Ridley had 6 receptions, 85 yards, 14.2, and 1 touchdown. And yes, I'll include Julio Jones. He had 5 receptions for 68 yards, 13.6 yards per attempt, and no touchdown. And for the Buccaneers, the rest of their core, Jones, 12 carries, 51 yards, 4.2, and a touchdown. Dargumbawale, Wisconsin alum, carried the ball once for 12 yards. And Goodwin had 7 receptions, 184 yards, 26.3 yard average, and 2 touchdowns. O.J. Howard, 1 reception for 10 yards, in case any of you guys have him on your fantasy teams. Yeah, with that out of the way, and moving on to the Buffalo Bills going up against the Broncos. Broncos got pummeled. Broncos, Bills Mafia, dude, their defense is stout. They've been a pretty hefty sleeper team for a while. Oh, shit, I forgot to... Oh, wait, no, I didn't. I got him. Bills won 20-3. For the Broncos, Allen had 10 completions for 25 yards, for 25 attempts, sorry. He had 82 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Lindsay had 13 carries. Lindsay, whatever. 13 carries, 57 yards, no touchdown, averaging at 4.4 yards per attempt. Freeman, 2 carries for 20 yards, 10 yards on average. Allen himself rushed 2 times twice for 8 yards, averaging 4. Sutton had 1 reception, 27 yards, averaging 27. And for the Buffalo Bills, whose defense is absolutely stellar. Holy cow. Josh Allen had 15 completions for 25 yards, 25 attempts, I should say, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Singletary had 21 carries for 106 yards with a 5-yard average and no touchdown. Frank Gore rushed 15 times for 65 yards and averaged 4.3. He owns the rushing record now for the NFL, which is amazing. Congrats, dude. Corey Beasley had 6 receptions for 76 yards, averaging 12.7 yards per attempt and a touchdown. Antonio Brown. He's still being investigated by the league. Had 2 receptions for 39 yards, averaging 19.5 and a touchdown as well. The Broncos. Where should I put the Broncos? Sitting at 3-8. I'll put them in football hell for right now. And the Bills sitting at 8-3. They're leading the division. They're doing pretty good. Yeah, put them in the wild card since they're effectively in the wild card. don't know what seed they currently have, but they're there. All right. The Steelers went up against the Bungles, who are currently sitting at 0-11. They are a solid tank up. They are in the tank bowl. Hold on a second. We got ourselves a Snapchat from Jordan. How you doing, dude? Ah, ha, 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 ha. Funny. You're a comedian. Just a step below horse shit. Who are you referring to as horse shit? I don't know. The Bungles. Yeah, if you're referring to the Bungles, they have officially embraced the tank, so they're tanking for a reason. The Steelers just barely edged past them. They played down to their opponents again. Oh boy. In other news, grass is green. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph, or Memeson Rudolph as he's referred to now, 8 completions out of 16 attempts for 85 yards and a pick. And Duck Hodges makes his return. Yeah, baby. I like that guy. Duck Hodges is cool. Devlin Hodges is his actual name, but everybody calls him Duck because he's actually a duck hunter and he is a world champion duck caller. He had 5 completions out of 11 attempts for 118 yards and a tutty. And Washington, I'm referring to James Washington. He had himself a pretty good game. He had 3 receptions for 98 yards, averaging 32.7 yards per attempt with a touchdown. Mason Rudolph and Devlin Hodges rushed 4 times, averaging 4 yards, averaging 1 yard per carry. Hodges himself did not do too well in the rushing scheme, rushing 3 times for 1 yard, averaging 0.3 for the Bungles. Them darn Bungles. Finley had 12 completions for 26 yards, 192 yards, and a touchdown. Mixon had 18 carries for 79 yards, averaging 4.4. And for receiving, Boyd had 5 receptions for 101 yards, 20.2 yards average, and a touchdown. Alex Erickson, a former Wisconsin Badger. Another Badger shout out there. 2 receptions, 43 yards, averaging 21.5 yards per attempt, and a new touchdowns. Yes, the Bungles are solidly in the tank bowl, sitting at 0-11. If they make it, if they lose out, that'll be incredible. They will match the 17 Cleveland Browns in terms of incompetence. That will be something. Oh yeah, also, we are going to see the return of Andy Dalton. If you remember, he got benched on his birthday. That was a F's in the chat fest. So I don't know. Do you think? I don't know how this will work out. It worked pretty well the last time. Not. All right. Anyway, moving on. So, we have the Ryan Tannehill run. Titans go up against Big Dick Nick and the Jaguars. All right. For the Jaguars, Big Dick Nick had 32 attempts and 48 yards, 48 attempts. 32 completions out of 48 attempts. God, what is going on with me? 272 yards, no touchdowns, and 0 picks. How do I pronounce him? Fournette had 24 carries for 97 yards, averaging 4 yards per attempt with 2 touchdowns. Nick Foles himself carried the ball 3 times for 20 yards, averaging 6.7 yards per carry. Darnell Westbrook, if that's his... No, Dade Westbrook, sorry. Sorry about that, guys. Dade Westbrook. Yeah. Damn. Dade Westbrook had 8 receptions, averaging 69 yards. Nice. He averaged 8.6 yards per catch with 0 touchdowns. For the Titans, Ryan Tannehill completed 14 out of 18 passes for 259 yards and 2 touchdowns. Henry ran 19 times for 159 yards, averaging 8.4 yards per attempt with 2 touchdowns. Ryan Tannehill carried the ball 7 times, 40 yards, and 5.7 yards per attempt with a pair of touchdowns. Oh, I gotta figure out which Browns are who. This could get confusing. AJ Brown. He had 4 receptions for 135 yards, averaging 33.8 yards per catch with a touchdown. The Tennessee Titans won this game 42-20. Titans are currently sitting at 6-5, while the Jaguars are currently sitting at 4-7. Tennessee Titans, they have a pretty convincing spot in the wild card. Well, are they in the wild card? I'm not 100% sure. I gotta check. Well, the Jags are in football hell. And the next game we got down the line, the New England Patriots edge out over the Dallas Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? They fucking sucked. Dallas did not get a sniff of the end zone this game, getting a trio of field goals. However, the New England Patriots got a touchdown first quarter and 2 field goals in the second and fourth quarters, respectively. The Dallas Cowboys, or Cowgirls as I could call them, Dak Prescott, he had himself a pretty crappy game. 19 yards, 19 completions out of 33 attempts for 212 yards, 0 touchdowns, and a pick. Ezekiel Elliott carried the ball 21 times for 86 yards, averaging 4.1 yards per attempt. And Dak Prescott himself ran once for 4 yards. Randall Cobb, former Packer, he had himself a pretty good time. He had himself a pretty decent game. 4 receptions for 86 yards, averaging 21.5 yards per attempt. And Coop got shut out. That's the first game he's been shut out all year. That's incredible. Moving on to the Patriots, Tom Brady, the GOAT. Well, not for long. Had 17 completions out of 37 attempts for 190 yards and a touchdown. Sony Michel, 20 yards. Had the ball 20 times. He carried it 85 yards, averaging 4.2 yards per attempt. James White, another Wisconsin shout-out, had the ball twice, carried it for 5 yards, averaging 2.5 yards. Julian Edelman had 8 receptions for 93 yards, averaging 11.6 yards per attempt. And the rookie, N'Keal Harry, had the only touchdown of the game, had 1 reception for 10 yards and a touchdown. Yeah, that game was ugly. And it was miserable because it was raining like really hard. The Cowgirls. Where do we put the Cowgirls? They are in the playoff hunt. That was a game that wasn't good. That was not a good game at all. And the Patriots are currently sitting at 10-1. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, they're in the Super Bowl. I hate the Patriots. I hate them with a passion. Oh, this next game. Oh, hold on to your pants. The Green Bay Slackers went up against the San Francisco 49ers and got their fucking asses kicked 37-8. Oh my God. What the fuck? We waited a whole bye week for this. Jesus Christ alive. I could spend a whole hour on this. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, I spilled my drink a little bit. Damn it. You know what? Hold on to your pants, batten down the hatches, because it's rant time, motherfuckers. Alright, where do I start? Oh yeah, offense. Looked like shit. Rodgers had... It got so bad we even put in Tim Boyle at the end of the game. Rodgers had 20 completions for 30 out of 33 attempts for 104 yards and a touchdown. Tim Boyle was 3 out of 4 and he had 15 yards and no touchdowns. Jamal Williams carried the ball 11 times for 45 yards. He averaged 4.1. And Aaron Jones, 13 carries, averaged 38. Carried the ball 38 yards, averaged the ball 2.9. Lazard had 1 carry for 21 yards. And Rodgers carried the ball 3 times for 13 yards, averaged 4.3. He faked the fuck out of Bosa. That was funny. That was probably the only highlight out of Green Bay, aside from that touchdown. Devontae Adams had 7 receptions for 43 yards, averaging the ball 6.1 yards. And he had a touchdown. Jamal Williams received the ball 7 times, got 35 yards, averaged 5. Geronimo Allison got the ball 3 times for 9 yards, averaged 3. Tanyan got the ball 8 times, averaged 4. Got the ball 2 times, averaged 8. Got 8 yards, averaged 4. Jimmy Graham got 1 reception for 7 yards. Lazard himself also got 1 reception for 7 yards. MVS, 1 catch, 7 yards. Vitale got the ball once for 3. Kumro was targeted, got shut out. And Aaron Jones was targeted and also got shut out. Oh my God. If you only run the ball, this is what you get when you only run the ball and try to get cute with screens. We only threw the ball deep like 3, 4, maybe 5 times. Dude, you can't run screens like 85% of the time. You got to go with the medium and deep balls every so often. Keep them off balance. Yes, you got to go with the run game because Aaron Jones, he's a fucking beast. The defense, they had a pretty decent stand. That fumble at the start of the game, that was the tone setter. It was pretty much done at the end of that game. That pretty much set the tone for the rest of the game. It was over after that. Defense after that, they tried, they held out as best they could. The offense, the first 7 drives, it was you had that fumble that resulted in a touchdown for San Francisco. Punt, and another punt. They punted 6 times straight. That is terrible. And on our side, so far this season, we are averaging negative 11 return yards on punt. That is a disaster. Yes, I'm glad we got rid of Ron Zook. That guy was a fucking idiot. And now we replaced him with an even bigger idiot from Vanderbilt. Like, why the hell would you get a special team coach from Vanderbilt? I mean, Jesus. Lord alive. What the hell? That game was terrible. Oh my God. And I thought the Chargers game was bad. Jesus alive. Oh, at least we got the Giants next week. Fuck. Oh my God. In terms of the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo, 14 completions out of 20 attempts for 253 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mo Street had 6 carries, 45 yards, averaged 7.5 and a touchdown. Coleman carried the ball 11 times for 39 yards, averaging 3.5 and a touchdown. Garoppolo himself rushed twice for 1 yard, averaging a half yard a pop. Oh, Kittle made a pretty solid return. He had 6 receptions, 229 yards, averaged 21.5 yards per attempt, and a touchdown. Samuel caught the ball twice for 50 yards, averaged 25, and a touchdown. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the 49ers, they are clearly a Super Bowl contender, but that game on Sunday, Jesus Christ. And on top of that, we get embarrassed in prime time. Yes, San Francisco. Yes, I know San Francisco is a good team, but at least make it competitive, Packers. Come the fuck on. What really got me going was when LaFleur said we're sticking to the game plan. What fucking game plan? What game plan did you fucking have? I mean, seriously, what? Screening the ball? Yeah, like that's gonna work against one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, what the fuck? God, that pissed me off. Oh, cripes alive. All right. Last but not least. Oh, did we miss somebody? I think we missed a couple teams. Jesus. We'll have to go back. All right, last game. Yeah, I saw this game. Oh, the Baltimore Ravens kicked the absolute shit out of the Los Angeles Rams, 45-6. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh, that was a destruction. That was absolute destruction. Wow. Baltimore Ravens. For the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, 15 completions out of 20 attempts. He could not miss in the first half at all. He had 169 yards, 5 touchdowns, no picks. And the beatdown got so bad, they put in RG3. Yes, RG3 made an appearance. Had a completion for one completion for 39 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Ingram, he did pretty good. 15 carries for 111 yards. Averaged 7.4 yards per attempt and a touchdown. Lamar Jackson carried the ball 8 times for 95 yards, averaged 11.9. For receiving, Boykin caught the ball twice for 54 yards and averaged 27 yards. Andrews caught the ball twice for 45 yards, averaged 22.5. And Brown, not Antonio Brown, his relative, caught the ball 5 times for 42 yards, averaging 8.4 yards and 2 touchdowns. For the Rams, Jared Goff had 26 completions out of 37 attempts for 212 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. Todd Gurley, he had 22 yards on 6 carries. He averaged 3.7 yards and no touchdowns. The only points the Rams got were off of field goals. Rams fall to 6-5, while the Ravens improve to 9-2. Ravens, I'd throw them in the Super Bowl running as well. And the Rams, they're either in the hunt or they're in the wild card position. Either way, they've got shit to improve on. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Oh yeah, I missed Giants and the Bears. Shit. Alright, both teams. Yeah, Giants are in the Tank Bowl, while the Bears are in football hell. Yeah, Packers there. They're leading the division, but right now they're in the wild card. Who else? Who else did I miss? Vikings, they didn't have a game this week. Cardinals also, I don't think, had a game this week. Oh, and the Steelers. Steelers are they're in the hunt. They're in the wild card. They made it. Alright, let's go over now the bye week teams. Alright, so first off, we've got the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona sitting at 3-7-1. That tie's gonna kill their chances with, that's gonna hurt them in the draft, so they're in football hell. Chiefs are doing all right. They're not doing too bad. 7-4. They're leading the division, but they're looking a lot like a wild card team right now. The Chargers go up against the Broncos next week. Chargers are sitting at 4-7. They're in football hell. And the Minnesota Vikings are in the wild card. We need to win next week, or we're fucked. I mean, seriously. Yeah, my phone's going crazy. All right, moving on to the Big Ten. We're getting into rivalry week, so this will be fun. All right, our first game for the Big Ten. I actually saw this game. I actually kept tabs on this game. I wanted Penn State to win. They fell to the Ohio State. God damn it. Right now, Ohio State, they're 11-0. They are currently ranked number 1 in the nation, so they're in contention for the Natty. And Penn State, they're in the running for the Big Ten title. They're in the conversation. I don't think they'll make the Buckeyes have essentially clinched the Big Ten East, so they're going to make an appearance in the Big Ten title game. So Penn State, if Ohio State didn't clinch, they would have been in the conversation for the Big Ten title. Illinois went up against Iowa. Iowa beat Illinois 19-10. They're both bowl eligible teams. Given Illinois is kind of they still have Lovie Smith. He had himself a pretty good year. Illinois is bowl eligible for the first time since, God, I don't know. Seriously, I have no idea when the last time Illinois was bowl eligible. They're sitting at 6-5, but they've got one game left in the season, so whoever they're playing, it depends. They're sitting bowl eligible right now. Minnesota beat Northwestern. Northwestern is trash. They are a trash team, and they should feel bad. Minnesota is in the running for a Big Ten title. Michigan State pounded on Rutgers 27-0. Michigan State is 5-6, while Rutgers is 2-9. Rutgers are trash. Michigan State, they're meh. Nebraska beat the piss out of Maryland 54-7. Yikes. Nebraska's 5-6. Maryland is sitting at 3-8. Maryland is trash. Nebraska are in the category of meh. Michigan pounded on Indiana 39-14. Current record for Michigan is 9-2. Michigan is bowl eligible. Indiana's bowl eligible as well. They're a solid team. Yeah, but they're pretty much a punching bag of the Big Ten East. Big Ten East is stacked. And the last game, Purdue got whomped on by Wisconsin. I don't get what the deal is with college football rankings. They had us 13 for a little bit this week, and then they bounced us back up to 12. I mean, what's going on? I'm beginning to think that ESPN has a pretty massive hate boner against the state of Wisconsin. And yes, I'm demonetized now. Woo! Demonetization! That's fun. Wisconsin, we're in contention for a Big Ten title. We just got to get through Minnesota. That's going to be a game. Seriously. why in the hell is everybody hating on Wisconsin? I mean, like everybody has their goddamn narratives when it comes to college football. And right now, Wisconsin, after those 2 losses, they're looking on the up and up. ESPN and the college football playoffs and their infinite wisdom going, oh my God, we can't have a 2-loss team in the college football playoffs. It'd be heresy. Rah! Fuck off with that. If we beat Minnesota and then go on to beat Ohio State, hopefully, that'd be pretty good. We're already in contention for a decent bowl, but we're not New Year's 6 worthy yet. Anyway, I don't know. It's just a bunch of I really don't know. The politics for ESPN's gotten so bad, I don't really care. So, yeah, we're gonna close it out here. Oh, I have an announcement. We now have a Sportsball Live Discord page. Yes, I am officially on Discord. However, I will not be taking invites yet since I'm still working out the kinks and setting the page up. Give it a week or maybe 2, then I'll see what's going on there. Until that point, I am still trying to figure stuff out. Alright. Pretty much run out of stuff to talk about. So, that being said, I'm DaWolfman, and you have made it through Sportsball Live. Until next week, this DaWolfman signing out.